Welcome back. Now in this episode, I'm going to answer your question, how to buy and flip real estate for a profit. Now this is a lot of fun for a lot of people, but it's not an easy business. So make sure you understand you're getting yourself into a place where you're really going to have to do some work. All right, now everybody wants the same thing. They want to make money. They want to do it quickly. Unfortunately, they haven't given it a lot of thought. These properties need to be sold before you buy them. By that I mean you need to know an exit strategy. You need to know what it's going to take to fix it up. There's going to be tons of properties to buy that you can flip and move quickly. There's all kinds of them. We're going to discuss them on this particular video. Now, the educational materials that you hear about on television and you hear at seminars on weekends, that's okay, but understand all of that is going to take time. And time is something that burns up a lot of money in taxes and employees to help you fix these properties. So this is not an easy business. Everybody thinks it's going to be easy. So you're going to think fast. So what you need to do is you need to think about how you're going to buy it. But before you buy it, you better think about how you're going to sell it. So I'm not in the business of disparaging or telling people you can't make money fast. I teach making money fast myself. But if you're buying flippers, you're probably buying them at foreclosure auctions, or you're buying from HUD, or maybe you're buying from the Department of Agriculture, or maybe you're just buying and brokers are finding them for you. All of those are okay answers, and you're going to find plenty of property, but make sure you're going to be able to sell them. Okay, now, I started out 30 years ago and got myself involved in tax liens and tax deeds because I could buy them right. And at the end of this video, I'll tell you a little bit more about that. So what we're going to talk about now is we're going to talk about how to buy and then flip the real estate and make a profit. That's not going to be an easy job, okay? So I want to tell you there's different strategies in that, and I'll cover some of those too. Now, there's going to be dozens of ways to make money in real estate. Flipping property is the one everyone likes to brag about because people would like to buy a property today and then have it sold in a couple of days and make a nice profit. Well, it's certainly the American dream to do that. I'm not suggesting you can't do that, but you better be prepared if you can't sell that property. So if you're buying foreclosures, they're probably used and abused. Now, if you can sell used and abused, you're okay. But you're going to have a limited market because only people that want to fix them up are the ones that are going to be there. So there's dozens of ways of making money. For example, you could be like the insurance companies. What do? They have tons of policyholders putting money in every month. What are they going to do with the money? Well, they get involved in long-term projects. Now, what's a long-term project? Well, all of those people that are bringing money and paying their insurance policies want to have that money invested. So now they're thinking about long-term. What you're talking about with flippers is the left side of the screen, which is short-term. And the insurance company's talking about long-term. So they're going to bring in a lot of money. And what are they going to do with it? Well, they don't want to buy flippers. They don't have the management team. They don't have the labor team. So what do they want to do? They probably want to buy high-rise buildings or buy nice apartment properties or even build them. And so maybe they want to build them. Where are they going to build? Well, the best place to build is in a redevelopment area. Now, who does the redevelopment? Well, states, cities, and counties all have some kind of master plan. And they take old areas of town, and with eminent domain, they clear it off and clear the land. You've seen this happen in major cities. Next thing you know, there's nice buildings downtown, maybe a stadium, and a nice infrastructure where the buses can take people to work and trains can take people to work. So they buy those buildings. But if you're buying one of those buildings, what are you buying into? Well, you're buying into a development area. In other words, the land gets cleaned, and someone has to have a vision of what the new development's going to look like. And then if they do, they put the money in, they have to wait. They have to wait to get it filled up. They have to rent the property. They have to sell the property. They have to have everything built. This might be a 5-year project just while they're building it out. So they might not see any money except in 10 or 20 years. All right, that's what they want. They want long-term money because this is what they want to buy. Well, you're not that buyer, but they bought this because they ultimately want that cash flow to pay the policyholders. All right, so that's an investment idea, all right? Now, you're probably not going to do that. So foreclosures is something I've been involved with for many, many years. Matter of fact, I wrote a best-selling book on foreclosures. It's not an easy business because when you buy at a foreclosure auction, what you're doing is paying off an old loan. All right, so the bank is foreclosing because they want payment on that loan. All right, so what if the loan is 70 or 80%? Well, if the loan's 80% and you pay 80% of the value, I can tell you you're going to have a hell of a time flipping that. unless the market's accelerating really fast. So you'd probably rather buy, like I do, at tax defaulted auctions where I get 60, 70, and 80% discounts. I'm not paying 60, 70, 80%. I'm getting those kind of discounts. So I'll cover that here in just a minute. All right, now at tax deed auctions, we buy at 60, 70, 80% discount, less than the tax assessed value. Are we buying new properties? No. We're buying properties that are used and abused. Some of them have been abandoned for a number of years. Some of them have been taken care of. So you have to know what you're going to be able to sell it for. Now, it's important that you think about that. So I'm trying to answer your question, how am I going to flip real estate for a profit? Well, you're going to buy it right. If you can't buy it right, you can't sell it right. If you can't sell it right, you're not going to sell it at all. My point is, if you could buy for 20 cents on the dollar, you could probably sell it for 50 cents on the dollar relatively quickly. All right, but if you buy for 80 cents on the dollar, you've only got a very small margin. You're going to have to pay brokers. You're going to have to pay people to help you sell it. You're going to have to get title companies. You're going to have to clean it up. Are you going to have enough money left over? And that's what happens to people. They think they're going to be able to get rid of it quickly, and they can't do that. So when banks are foreclosing, they're basically foreclosing on a mortgage. Many of the states in the West, they're going to call it a deed of trust. It's basically a loan. The loan is secured by the real estate. So if the loan doesn't get paid, the bank wants the real estate back. Well, when they get it back, does it always look pretty? It doesn't look like the right side of the slide. What does it look like? It looks like the left side. Well, those are what a lot of flippers are like. All right, now maybe you could sell that flipper to a person that could fix it up. You can make a quick sale that way. There's a lot of ways to sell them. You want to use all electronic sites. You want to use brokers. You want to use signs. But the point is, you've got to buy it right. So what's buying it right? So what I'm talking about today, the episode is all about how to buy and flip real estate for a profit. Well, the example I'll give you now is really an easy one, okay? So let's say you can go to the foreclosure auction, which are always advertised at the county. The county will give you a list of foreclosure. And let's say the house has a market value of $200,000, okay? And the foreclosure is taking place at $100,000. Well, my goodness, there's a lot of margin there, isn't there, between 100 and 200. So that makes sense. So if you could buy that for 100, now you've got plenty of margin if you did fix it up. Now my slide looks kind of nice. The property isn't too bad. Nice tile roof, nice paint, flowers in the windows. But is the foreclosure really going to look that good? I don't think so, because those people don't take care of it. And the grass might be all the way up to your assets. Yeah, or you might find out that this damage on the inside. The point is, when you buy this foreclosure property, do you have enough margin to fix it and then resell it at a profit? Well, if you want to sell it at a profit, you're probably going to have to get it sold quickly to do that. So you're not going to sell it for $200,000. You might have to sell it for $175,000. All right, now that changes the equation, doesn't it? All of a sudden, $25,000 is out of the selling. So if you don't know what your selling price is, you better not buy that property until you do. Now, there's plenty of foreclosures. There's plenty of leftover properties. Why? Because thousands and thousands of people just walk away from a property that they got a HUD loan on, or from the Department of Agriculture, or from banks. Now, there's no county in the United States that won't have a foreclosure auction this week. Every county in the United States is selling foreclosures. Can you buy them at the right price where you either can fix them or you can do something about getting them sold? Now, if you pay too much, you're the one that's going to be in foreclosures. So for people that get involved in foreclosure, they need to know what they're going to be able to sell those properties for. All right, now I know there's a television program running Saturday morning or every night of the week, and what are they telling you? You can buy these things and flip them and do all that. Yes, some people do that, but the majority go through the anguish of fixing them up and taking a long time. What's happening to the profits while you're doing that? The profits are disappearing quickly. There's you. That's your picture, worrying about your cash flow. Are you going to have enough money to take care of your family? Going to have enough money to take care of putting a roof on? Do you need contracts to fix it? If you're fixing it yourself, you're just burning money. Why? Because you're paying taxes. You got to pay security. You got to pay utilities. There's all kinds of payments. So cash flow is a major undertaking for flippers. Many people get the property, fix it, and they're lucky to get out with what they put in it. Why? Because all of this takes time. Flipping property is not easy. I'm not trying to discourage you, but you need to understand, if you can't buy the property, I say to my students, if you can't steal it, don't buy it. If you can't steal it, don't buy it. Simple as that. Because you're going to find out that when you go to sell, everybody wants a bargain. Everybody wants a bargain. All right, so you have to buy it right, but even more important than buying it is what's the neighborhood like? Folks, you can fix the property, but you can't fix the neighborhood. Now, this is looking pretty plush, so you probably wouldn't be in that neighborhood, but my point is, you don't want to buy junk in a junk neighborhood because you won't be able to get rid of it. So what are we talking about? We're talking about how to buy and flip for profit. You need to be able to buy it right. You need to be able to buy it for 10 cents, 20 cents, 30 cents on the dollar. All right, I'm not negative in foreclosure. I'm not negative on buying from HUD or the Department of Administration or from brokers. I'm not negative on any of that. I changed 30 years ago to buying tax defaulted property. Why? Not because I hated HUD, not because I hated those other, not because the brokerage community didn't help, not because eBay didn't work, not because Zillow doesn't work. I found out if I couldn't get the property right, I could have a heck of a time selling it. So I want to buy at close to back taxes. In other words, I want to buy for 10 cents, 20 cents, 30 cents on the dollar. You won't ever get me probably to go with 40 cents on the dollar. Why? Because we need margin. If you want to sell quickly, you need margin because people want to make profits and they want to make them quickly. So selling is easy, and it's only easy if you can be below the market or you can offer installment sales. Now, I'm not talking about installment sales on this particular video. I'm talking about flipping the property. The opposite of that would be the insurance company or an installment sale. Now, there's big money in installment. Take a look at what banks are doing. They're doing installments all the time. So I've learned the hard way. Look at what the big guys are doing and maybe copycat them. So I want to buy it low, and I want to sell it low, and I want to make all that happen as quickly as possible. At tax defaulted auctions, we're hoping to get the property at 60, 70, 80% discounts below the market value. Below the market value. So we can either sell it or we can flip it and do it relatively quickly. Lots of tax auctions out there. At least 5,000 auctions this year and every year. There's millions of properties that go to auction every single year. So you're kind of getting the idea. So tax lien auctions and tax deed auctions are something that you really need to think about and give a lot of thorough thought. Now, on this video, I'm going to tell you at the end that there's a special gift for you. It's a free gift. You can get the free gift there. And I want to tell you about the two biggest mistakes that take place at auction. Big mistake number one is people go to the auction and they haven't looked at the property. If you haven't looked at the property, it's a huge mistake because maybe it's next to a chicken farm. Maybe it's next to a factory. Maybe it's, there was a fire. Maybe there was a windstorm. So you don't want to do that because once you buy it, you're going to own it. And I'm going to tell you right now, if you've got all those problems because you haven't looked at it. The second big mistake is that many buyers go to the auction and they want to win. So they're doing everything. They keep pushing the price up. Know what your exit strategy. If you know what you're going to sell it for, you'll stop bidding. If you know what you're going to sell it for, you'll stop bidding. And that's a big one that you want to do. Now, right below me is a free course for you. Take advantage of it right now. I'm Ted Thomas.